So when I say peel, this is a peel, right? It's the thing that you fling the pizza into the oven with, and the thing that you get the pizza out of the oven with. That's a peel. You just want to make sure the pizza is smaller than the peel. If it's overhanging, it's going to sort of get smushed in the back of the oven. So that's your size guide. Size of peel or smaller is the way that you want to go. All right. I think that pumpkin and black garlic and rosemary and cheese are all good flavors together. So let's chuck some rosemary on the top here too. Beautiful. I like to be quite heavy with it, it's up to you. Might go a little pinch of salt. I think that's all the things I said I was going to put on, was it? Yep, cool. Beautiful. Might just give it a little extra lick of oil, just because, frankly, it's delicious. Alright, so, peel, raw pizza on peel. Before you put your pizza in the oven, it's always worth just giving it just a little jiggle. You see us moving on the peel, jiggling away there? Okay? That means that when I put it in my oven for real, and jiggle it, it's not going to stick. If you normally I don't do this when I'm talking to people, right? Normally I just put one in. I've shoved it right on the back of the oven, so I'm definitely going to get a tiny bit of, I'll move it in a minute, it'll be fine. So, if you were smushing your peel around, and it's sort of stuck on the peel and it's not moving, then you want to actually take it off, get a bit more flour on it, kind of move it around a little bit, and just make sure that it's not going to stick, because otherwise, if it sticks and you've got to fling it in, you end up just sort of getting the toppings all over the bottom of the oven, and it's a bit of a pain to clean up and that kind of thing. So as long as it's moving on there, and then it's just, I realise it's slightly difficult to see from where you're sitting, but if this is the inside of my oven up here, I guess I've just sort of put it in, and then just sort of shimmy backwards is the technical term, and the peel will kind of, because it's so thin, it's quite easy to get it out. And then as it cooks, it's going to form a lovely crust on the base. It's going to make it that easy to get underneath and kind of take it out. So from here, I reckon, I'm just going to set my timer maybe for 5 minutes. Oh, let's go 4 minutes. Let's have a little look. But I can see it's already starting to puff up beautifully. Have a quick temperature check. These things are really, really handy. If you haven't seen it before, this is a temperature gun. The other type of thermometer that you'll see is a probe thermometer, where it's got like a stick of metal at the end, right? And you poke it in. So that kind of thermometer is used for when you want to know the internal temperature of solid food. So if you want to know the temperature of like the inside of your roast chicken or your roast lamb or whatever, you can poke that in, you get an idea of how it's tracking. But measuring kind of spaces, like the inside of an oven, or the inside of a fridge, to be honest. So we've got a couple of restaurants, right? In order to make sure we're serving you safe food, the health inspector's giving us A+, which we get every time, of course. You want to make sure that your fridges, even if it says that it's operating at 2 degrees, you've got to check it, right? So we every day we go around and we poke one of these in and go, 256 degrees. Not quite the fridge temperature, but that's the temperature of this oven, what it's sitting at right now, right? So very, very handy. So this is actually one you can get, it's like an accessory you can get with the Uni pizza ovens. But it's good to know, because even though I've set this at 300 degrees, like anything, it depends, if I'm opening the oven constantly and that kind of thing, the temperature's going to drop and go up and down. So I can then go, that's actually slightly on the cold side, I'm now just going to crank that to 350, get a little bit more heat in there. And because I shoved it right to the back of the oven, I might just see if I can pull that forward just a little bit. Yep, that's better. Perfect. All right, should we make another one, Hope? What do you reckon? I feel there's enough people here. There's going to be some pleased pizza eaters. So yeah, temperature gun, very, very handy. I guess, yeah, it's because they're so small, they heat up really quickly, but the temperature does vary slightly more than maybe a larger oven at home with a bit more space. And especially like pizza, you can kind of just go as hot as you like, really, and you're still going to get a reasonably good result. But if you were trying to do roast pumpkin or roast chicken or something, or you can even like do baking in here, then you obviously want to have a better idea of exactly what temperature it's at, so you've got some idea of how to control the food process. That is looking absolutely delicious. So when it's going to come out in a sec, we've got here some beautiful rocket I'm going to hit it with. We've got some prosciutto as well, just for a bit of kind of saltiness. And we've just got our lovely serving board here we can pop it onto as well. We'll chop it up and have a little crack. Should we go for it? Do a little stretch. All right. So, I know you won't be able to see perfectly what Hope's doing from where you're sitting necessarily, so I'll try and explain. But effectively, I guess when you use a rolling pin, you're rolling out in kind of one direction, which is when you start doing that repeatedly, you end up with like a rhombus, you end up with like pointy corners, like it's really difficult to keep it sort of circular. So if this is our go, Hope's kind of using two hands at once and doing like a little twisting motion, and each time sort of pulling out just slightly. Beautiful. And if you do that enough times, you're just going to make it slight. Yeah, you got the hand gestures right, perfect. So it's, and you can kind of, it's not a perfect science. You can sort of stretch and pull it. So I've got my peel again, right? It's really thin, so I can just easily. Wow, the balls really are quite an effective instrument. All right. So I just sort of shimmy it underneath again, and we get our beautiful pizza. Take it out. And now I'm just going to do the reverse of that process, so I'm just going to shimmy it back off again. Thank you for whoever that person just said that smells so good as you walk past. I appreciate the compliment. All right, so I've got here prosciutto. Actually, I'm about to completely cover it with stuff, right? So I want you to sort of see it before I completely cover it, and then I'll cover it with more delicious things. Let me come for a little walk around. Pop that one in there. Okay. I started doing the first couple of bits of prosciutto, right? So don't take photos of it yet, it's half finished. It's either take it off or I need to put more on. So, do you remember at the start when I was talking to you when I flung it in right to the back and I was like, oh shit, that went a bit too far. So that's that little bit there, right? And it's food, right? You learn. So when I cook this next one in a second, I'll actually watch what I'm doing and I won't fling it right so it's actually touching the back of the oven, okay? But you can see that lovely crust, you can see how it's just puffed up, a real treat. That cheese is melted, it's kind of caramelized and bubbly and golden. And considering how thin Hope's got that dough, you can see it's literally got to like, an inch and a half high on this side, so it's massive. So, now that I've got our beautiful base, you can of course muck around with this as much as you like, and top it with whatever you want. I do have recipes for you. If anyone wants to take a recipe home, you are more than welcome to do so. But I guess all I'd say is, have some fun with it. Like there's, even if I'm having a pizza party in my house, I'm not just going to make this one pizza, right? I'm going to have just a bunch of stuff and let everyone go kind of crazy on what you want to do. So I've got some torn prosciutto there, some rocket, and just because I'm decadent AF, I'm just going to go one more little drizzle of olive oil. Right, those are last incarnations. So, black garlic, mozzarella, a little bocconcini. We've got the pumpkin under there as well. That little bits of rosemary and let it go nice and crispy. Prosciutto, rocket. That's going to be that is a very snazzy camera you've got there. Do you always take that with you? Come closer. I've never seen such a big lens on the camera. Surely you can get me from this distance. All right, I'll come this. Did you get it? Beautiful. All right. Cool. How are we going, Hope? Are we ready to throw another one into the oven? All right. So, from here, gang, I'm gonna. There's a lot of people here. Excellent. Good news. I should have had these all turned on and been cooking 4 at once and not a production line. We could have sat down, nice bottle of red wine, would have been a beautiful lunch. We'll do that next time, all right? So I'm going to chop this one up and give as many of you a sample of this one, and then I'll do another one, and then give us some more samples, right? So hopefully everyone can try a little bit of the pizza. In terms of, I did mention recipes as well before, right? I'll grab those here too. In fact, I'll grab them in a second on the other side of the bench. But if you want a recipe, come up and see me in a minute as well. And of course, the nature of doing something like this, of course, is we are promoting the product, right? So I've shown you how to make the pizza, but the team that are paying for me to be here are selling these today. Now, so my shameless plug is buy one of these. Now, firstly, that's a shameless plug. But secondly, I actually really like them. I genuinely like them. As I said, I have this one here at my house. Beautiful for a pizza night. And I do think going into the warmer weather, like when you start getting days like this, and there's sport back on, people are playing tennis and cricket, and there's people going to the beach, and you're having like getting closer to Christmas, and you're having work parties, and you're having friends over, and all the kind of beautiful things that come with warm weather. I do think that we cook outdoors on the barbecue, we entertain more. So I think there's no better time of the year to like get outside and cook with your friends and family than right now, and genuinely it's a good product. So I think there's a deal today. Let me just quickly check my deal. So it's 15% off if you get one of the gas ones, and then the one I've been cooking, which is the electrical one, that is $100 off today as well. So if you do want to have a little squeeze, you're obviously welcome to look at the displays here, or you can go into David Jones, of course, and have a further look as well. I've used them fair bit, so if you've got any questions on the product, have a chat to me.